This aircraft first flew when Harry Truman was president. When it was designed, computers filled entire rooms. The pilots flying it today weren't born when the last one rolled off the assembly line in 1962, and yet, the United States Air Force plans to keep flying it until 2050, maybe beyond. Which raises an obvious question. Why is a 70-year-old bomber still considered America's most lethal long-range strike platform? The answer isn't what you think, and it says something profound about how modern warfare actually works. April 15, 1962. Boeing's prototype B-52 takes its maiden flight. It's designed for one mission: fly deep into Soviet territory and drop nuclear weapons. The original concept was simple: high altitude, high speed for its time, overwhelming nuclear deterrent. The Air Force ordered 744 of them between 1952 and 1962. But here's what makes the B-52 different from every other Cold War weapons system. As of 2024, the US Air Force has 76 B-52s, 58 operated by active forces, 18 by reserve forces, and about 12 in long-term storage. All of them are B-52H models, the final variant built between 1961 and 1962. These aircraft are 60+ years old, but almost nothing inside them is original. It's like the ancient Greek paradox, the ship of Theseus. If you replace every plank of a ship over time, is it still the same ship? The B-52 you see today has the same basic airframe, the same iconic shape, but the engines, avionics, weapon systems, communications, radar, nearly everything that matters has been replaced, sometimes multiple times. The Air Force hasn't been flying the same bomber for 70 years, they've been continuously rebuilding it. So why this plane? Why not design something new? The answer starts with something Boeing's engineers got right in 1948: sheer size. The bomber can carry up to 70,000 pounds of weapons and has a typical combat range of around 8,800 miles without aerial refueling. That's 35 tons of ordnance, more than most cargo planes can carry. And with aerial refueling, it can stay airborne for missions lasting over 30 hours. During the 1991 Gulf War, something remarkable happened. B-52, designed to drop nuclear weapons in Soviet cities, were instead carpet-bombing Iraqi positions with conventional munitions. According to USAF, B-52s accounted for 40% of munitions dropped by coalition forces, covering some 1,620 total sorties in the war with no combat-related losses. And that adaptability, that's the secret. The B-52's enormous internal volume and external hardpoints mean it can carry weapons that didn't exist when it was designed. AGM-86 cruise missiles, joint direct attack munitions, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, and soon, hypersonic weapons that can strike targets thousands of miles away at 5 times the speed of sound. The B-52J is set to carry hypersonic weapons, with focus shifting to the Hypersonic Attack Cruise Missile, HACM. A scramjet-powered system expected to enter service by FY 2027. Modern aerial warfare isn't about flying over enemy territory anymore, it's about launching weapons from safe distances, sometimes hundreds of miles away. The B-52 doesn't need to be stealthy or supersonic, it needs to carry enough firepower to overwhelm defenses and launch from beyond their reach. And that's exactly what it does better than anything else in the American arsenal. But keeping a 60-year-old bomber flying takes more than wishful thinking. It requires one of the most ambitious modernization programs in military aviation history. The centerpiece, replacing the original 1960s-era Pratt & Whitney TF-33 engines with modern Rolls-Royce F-130 turbofans. The B-52HS are still flying with their original TF-33 engines. Those 60-year-old TF-33s are now at the end of their working lives. Maintainers are literally cannibalizing parts from retired aircraft just to keep operational planes flying. Finding spare parts for the engines designed in the Eisenhower administration is increasingly impossible. The F-130 engines promise about 30% better fuel efficiency. That translates to significantly greater range, longer loiter time over targets, and reduced dependence on aerial refueling. These new engines promise up to 30% better fuel efficiency, significantly increasing the B-52J's unfueled range, currently about 8,800 miles. But the engines are just the beginning. The B-52J upgrade transforms nearly every system: new active electronically scanned array radar, the AN/APQ-188 replacing 1960s mechanically scanned systems, modern digital displays and avionics, advanced communications allowing real-time retargeting during missions. The Combat Network Communications Technology Connect upgrade modernizes electronics, communications technology, computing and avionics on the flight deck, allowing the transmission and reception of data with updated intelligence, mapping, and targeting information. This isn't just upgrading instruments, it's transforming a Cold War relic into a network node in modern warfare, receiving satellite data, coordinating with ground forces, updating targets in real time. The 1760 internal weapons bay upgrade increases weapons capacity by 66%, allowing the B-52 to carry more precision-guided munitions internally, reducing drag and increasing effectiveness. The program hasn't been without problems. Initial operational capability, originally planned for 2030, has slipped to 2033. The 10-month delay stems from ongoing engine inlet issues discovered during testing. The Government Accountability Office said, wind tunnel testing revealed the new engine inlets didn't perform as simulated. Redesigns were necessary, development timelines extended. But despite the delays, the program continues. All 76 of the remaining B-52H airframes will be upgraded to B-52J standard, with the goal of keeping the aircraft operational into the 2050s, potentially marking 100 years of continuous service. But this raises another question. With modern stealth bombers like the B-2 Spirit and the new B-21 Raider, why invest billions in upgrading ancient airframes? The answer is strategy and cost. In the Air Force of the future, the B-52 will be just one of the two bombers operated by the United States, the other being the cutting-edge, 6th-generation B-21 Raider stealth bomber. The B-21 is designed for high-end missions, penetrating sophisticated air defenses, striking high-value targets in contested airspace. It's stealthy, advanced, and expensive. Each B-21 costs over $700 million. Upgrading all 76 B-52s to J standard, approximately $2.56 billion total. That's about $34 million per aircraft for a completely modernized bomber. Building 76 new bombers, even less capable ones, would cost tens of billions. The B-52 upgrade is economically efficient force multiplication. But it's not just about cost, it's about capability mix. Against near-peer adversaries like China or Russia, with sophisticated integrated air defenses, used in stealthy B-21s to penetrate denied airspace. Against lower-tier threats, insurgents, regional powers without advanced defenses, you send B-52Js carrying massive payloads of precision weapons. They can loiter for hours, provide close air support, and deliver overwhelming firepower. In Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and other recent conflicts, the B-52 proved invaluable precisely because it could stay on station for extended periods, supporting ground forces with a massive arsenal. B-52s conducted the longest strike mission ever during Desert Storm, beginning from Barksdale AFB in Louisiana and covering some 35 hours of non-stop flight time before delivering lethal cruise missiles against Iraq targets. And there is another role: presence and deterrence. B-52s regularly conduct bomber task force missions, flying from the United States to Europe, the Pacific, or the Middle East, demonstrating American reach and capability. Just in 2025, B-52s have flown deterrence missions over the Caribbean near Venezuela, joint exercises with NATO allies in Europe, and freedom of navigation flights in the South China Sea. No other platform offers this combination: massive payload, intercontinental range, decades of logistics infrastructure, and crews with institutional knowledge going back generations. But let's be clear about what B-52J isn't. It's not stealthy, it's subsonic. On radar, it lights up like a Christmas tree. Against modern integrated air defense networks, sending a B-52 anywhere near hostile territory would be suicidal. China's advanced surface-to-air missiles and Russia's integrated air defense networks make the idea of sending a B-52 anywhere near a contested area increasingly untenable. This is the fundamental limitation. The B-52J will never penetrate Chinese airspace. It won't overfly Russia. Those missions belong to stealth platforms. But that's not its job anymore. With standoff weapons, cruise missiles with 1,000-mile ranges, hypersonic missiles traveling at Mach 5+, the B-52 doesn't seem to get close. Launch from international waters, stay outside enemy defenses. Let the missiles do the penetrating. The B-52 becomes a flying arsenal ship, carrying more long-range precision weapons than any other platform. In a potential conflict with China, B-52Js operating from Guam, Australia, or even the continental United States could launch waves of cruise missiles and hypersonic weapons, overwhelming defenses through sheer volume. 76 B-52Js, each carrying 20 cruise missiles, means 1,520 weapons in a single wave. That's the kind of mass warfare that air defenses struggle to counter. By 2033, when the first fully upgraded B-52Js achieve initial operational capability, they'll be operating alongside the B-21 Raider in a high-low mix. High-end stealth for penetration missions. High-capacity legacy platforms for volume and persistence. It's the same strategy the Air Force uses with fighters, expensive F-35s alongside more numerous F-16s. And if everything goes according to plan, some B-52 currently in service will still be flying in 2050. That's 88 years after it was built. Maintainers in their 20s working on aircraft built when their grandparents were children. Pilots flying the same basic airframe their grandfathers flew in Vietnam. No other combat aircraft in history has served this long. The Russian Tu-95 comes close, but even that's younger than the B-52. So why is the B-52 still America's deadliest weapon? Not because it's the best bomber, it isn't. The B-21 is stealthier, the B-1B is faster. Modern fighters can deliver precision strikes the B-52 never could. But the B-52 endures because it's adaptable, because it's economical, because its enormous airframe accommodates weapons and systems that didn't exist when it was designed. It endures because every generation of military planners has looked at the 70-year-old design and decided we can make this work for what we need today. If it serves until 2055, B-52 will mark 100 years of continuous service, an unprecedented achievement in military aviation. Century bomber, that's what they're calling it. An aircraft designed in the 1940s, built in the 1960s, continuously upgraded through the 2020s. And planned to fly through the 2050s. Every weapon system has a lifespan. Every technology becomes obsolete, but the B-52 keeps proving that sometimes the right basic design, large enough, simple enough, adaptable enough, can outlast everything that was supposed to replace it. Not because it's the newest, not because it's the most advanced, but because when you need to put 70,000 pounds of precision weapons on target anywhere on Earth, with crews who've been doing this for 3 generations, nothing does it better.